Thank you for tuning in to tonight's episode of the Media Society. I'm your host, Anthony Llewellyn, and it brings me great pleasure to introduce tonight's guest, Mr. Marlon Pilson, here to represent the company F1ne-Tune. His work in the organization seeks to lessen the educational divide between the educator and the minority student. Let's welcome him to the Media Society family. How you doing, Mr. Pilson?
Thank you, Anthony, and thank you, Medium family. And on behalf of our CEO, Dr. Rita Williams, and the F1ne-Tune team, thank you for having us today.
Awesome, awesome. Let's jump right in here. How did this business get started in this needed time of education?
Well, our CEO first started out as a math teacher, and then she moved on into professional development. And while in professional development, she realized that teachers had a lot that they were bringing to the table. And if you ever been in a professional development, sometimes they teach the workshops based on you not knowing anything. So in 2014, our CEO started F1ne-Tune. And with that, she figured that, look, we already have participants. All we need to do is come alongside of them and adjust learning or just teaching in order to improve learning. So hence the name F1ne-Tune. And that's fine, the number one, because she taught mathematics, N-E-T-U-N-E, F1ne-Tune, adjusting teaching to improve learning.
That's awesome. And can you tell us about the team and who all is involved in the organization?
Well, we have a team which we call the A team, and naturally at the top of that team is our CEO, Dr. Rita Williams, and she's a great visionary. We have Sonia Scott. She is our executive officer, our senior executive officer. We have myself, as you know, as the director of treasure hunt. We have Zaria Hartnett, which is our admin assistant. We have also Andrea Williams, and Andrea Williams is our editor. And last but not least, we have Peter Williams, and he's our accountant.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Now, let's dive into something that's really near and dear to you, especially you have an upcoming conference that's going to be coming out very soon here in the next several weeks. Let's talk about the Treasure Hunt program. What is the Treasure Hunt program?
The Treasure Hunt program is, it's the best way to explain that is our department is for Black males by Black males. And we have dynamic Black males coming in and actually once a month. We for over the past few months since August, we've had Black males coming in doing workshops. And they come in and the strategy is to help unlock the potential in our Black males. A lot of times we find that there are teaching and learning strategies that are needed to adjust. And there are social emotional strategies, and there are unique challenges that are facing our Black males, such as racism, the high incarceration rate, lack of fathers and father figures. A lot of times there's negative media. And then there are relationship challenges that our Black males have, and sometimes they don't know how to express themselves. And so hopefully through our chats, which we like to look at them similar to TED Talks, that will help us change the trajectory that we're presently seeing.
Gotcha. So what are some of the things that you guys instill or coach educators to do to better the teaching and learning strategy?
Amazing you would say that. One of our speakers really, it was an aha moment for me. I knew this, but sometimes when you in education or any organization for a long time, you can forget some things, or you can just kind of go on as the same old. And what this Black male was instructing us about is you got to first, if you will, minister to their need. And at his school, the need was first, I need something to eat. You
Mm.
know, I may need to take a nap in midday. Can you imagine a student having to take a nap in midday? Wake up! Why are you sleeping in my class?
Mhm.
And so I've done it myself. Why? Because the system tells us, and when I say we have to be on this certain pattern to make sure that all students are learning.
Mhm.
And in some cases, Anthony, the students may need to just put their head down and take a nap
Mhm.
because they hadn't had that. They
Wow.
may need some food because they hadn't had food in their house. And even in the, I can only imagine what they're dealing with now during this pandemic.
Yeah.
And so we are out here trying to help change some of those things and help teachers understand that yes, you have to follow your standards, but it's a life you're dealing with,
Mhm.
and you want that person to be the best person they can be in their community.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, I mean, under the pandemic, it's probably just brought more to the forefront of the scarcity of food for a lot of families. And then people losing jobs obviously has been one of the things that's contributed towards that. But some of these people just are below the poverty line and don't have access to good food, good medicine, all the basic things that we might take for granted.
Yes,
Um, some of these young men and women that are going to school, elementary, middle school, high school, and college are having, or we're finding out that they're major scarcity for food. They're not even getting sleep because some of them are homeless.
yes.
And I think society doesn't really know that. Um, and now it's starting to come to the forefront. So, what are some of the things that you guys coach when it comes to social, emotional strategies, and how you go about supporting the male Black learners?
We have actually a division in our uh, organization, and that deals specifically with that. And that person has a whole team to help deal with the social emotional, you know, aspect of our Black learner.
Okay.
So what we've done, Anthony, is try to set up, if you will, pillars in the organization to help deal with those type of issues.
Mhm.
Um, One of the, well, actually, the person that's over that area, Mr. Scott, he has been a speaker for one of our chats. So he kind of outlined to us some of the unique issues that they're dealing with. What are you going to do if a Black male, he's smart, but he want to be like his boys, and sometimes dummy down his knowledge, because it's cool, sometimes to be, you know, um, in the hip hop age, or
Yeah.
it's kind of cool to be tough, or at least appear that you're tough.
Mhm.
And so with that, that side of the organization kind of helps um, adjust those needs.
Okay. Okay. Let's talk about the education system and its opinion of Black male learners overall. You touched on it a little bit just now, and there is, I believe, a belief that Black kids can't learn on the same speed or pace that some of their white counterparts might learn in. And we know, I mean, I think through science as well as just history, it kind of tells us it's about resources a lot of times. Some of their counterparts have resources like extra tutors, spending money on tutors for SAT and the ACT and all that stuff that some of the African American community and the Latinx community just don't have the resources. But a lot of that ties back to getting some type of understanding in a classroom, like you were talking about earlier. How do we go about attracting more Black males to the education profession? How do you see that we need to do
More money, more money, more money.
that? I believe it.
I'm going to go backwards and then try to come back and answer your question, because
Okay.
what you said triggered something in me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I recall when I was in the second grade, I was taking third grade math.
Mm-hmm.
And so that within itself, okay, I'm intelligent. I'm an intelligent black male back then.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Now, sad to say, just by what you triggered, I'm just kind of realizing that man, you were smart back then. And so we have to look at, we have this thing what we call the school to prison pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens, to a child from the second grade to fifth grade, or I'm having real good time in pre-K, kindergarten, first grade, but now, you know, I, I believe a lot of our black males are very intelligent, but
Mm-hmm.
there's something that happens between that second and fifth grade, and then by the time you get to high school, they want to try to correct. But some of the damage, I'm not saying that nobody can, but some of the damage is already done. And so I think we have to put our monies towards students as a whole and programs as a whole. I think some systems try to do it as it relates to high schools, but really a lot of that should be done in the elementary school, where character building that's just the foundations and the fundamentals of who you're going to be, and who you are. You by the age 7 or 8, you have already been framed, of who you're going to be in life, your habits and all of that. And not saying you can't break out of it and improve, you can, but uh, when you get to high school, it's different. And yes, we have a lot of programs. We have remediation, we have summer school, we have classes that you can take during the semester, to make up for what you failed first semester. But then again, that's another pressure, because you're you're just continuously having something to do to catch up. So I think I went around the bend. I'm not sure if I really answered where you were going with that, but I think to get black males into high school, um, it has to be attractive, and some of those attractions has to be dollars.
Yeah.
That's not the only thing, though. I think I was kind of, if you will, I think I'm using this correctly. I was vortexed in when I was in college, and a group of middle school students came to campus. I was already in business education, and I got into business education because I didn't know if I could do business administration. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if I could get through the math,
Mm-hmm.
and math was one of my favorite subjects. Remember now, elementary school, I told you I was taking third grade math in the
That's second
second
grade.
grade.
Yep.
And so somehow or another, in algebra, I slept in algebra class, because of some things that was going on at home. My dad anyway, I slept in algebra class, and in some cases, I still passed the test.
Mm.
Um, so with that in mind, you do have to have a love and a passion. So I got sucked in by those middle school students, finished my degree, went on to teach elementary school. That's where I first started out. 3 weeks in, they say, look, we overstaffed, and you was the last one hired. And so during that time, in recess, I had been, kind of hanging out with the students, playing kickball and football. Most of them were African-American males.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they found out I had to transition to another school, they were tore up.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, okay, that's another confirmation. All right, I'm in my zone.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did a term in middle school teaching outside of my degree with health education. Opportunity came up and I started teaching in business education. And here I am in high school, finding myself mentoring Black male students again.
Mhm.
And so with that, um, what's the success of it? Um, this conference that's coming up on April 17th,
Mhm.
one of my long-term mentees that I've kept in contact with over the years, he's going to be speaking in one of the breakout sessions. So
Okay.
that's a blessing to me.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's. I was telling my sons recently that the first time I actually had an African American teacher was eighth grade. So all the way from elementary to eighth grade, that was the first time I actually encountered, and he actually taught world history in eighth grade, and that was my first time, and that's so sad considering
Yeah.
the little town that I come from, a little outside of Orlando, Florida.
Right.
They went through a lot of the desegregation. So even at the point in the 80s, they were still going through sanctions that the U.S. Department of Education had put against them to make sure that there was African American students and white students in the school. Obviously, we were always outnumbered, but it's just sad that even with the teacher base, that is, even to this day, a lot of kids won't see Black teachers until they get maybe to middle school,
Right.
if that. In
And
some,
I have,
so,
yeah, I have to even say now, keep in mind, we do have great men that come in and they mentor students.
mhm,
But Anthony, it's nothing like being a teacher where you're there to help mentor during the day. You're there to help mold and shape
mhm,
uh, their lifelong decisions are going to be. And even you have to check yourself, to
yeah,
make sure that the advice that you're giving them is solid advice and nothing that you're creating in your own mind. And
yeah,
and the other key thing is to make sure you're being a good example of what you're telling them.
yeah,
And so yeah, that's the amazing thing.
awesome. So, how do we counteract the issues? Racism, incarceration, and I know your conference is coming up, talks a lot about these things. So, what kind of things at the conference will you guys be discussing to help educators and parents counteract some of these issues?
We are going to have each. Oh wow, we the student that I told you about, he's going to be talking about parenting and how to raise a Black male. He's in finance.
Mhm.
He wants to do a session on finance. However, he has an amazing story, not just from himself, but now as a father
Mhm.
of raising um, black a black male. He has a daughter too, but he just has an interesting story. We have one of our sessions is going to be about um, what happens the next, the next in the future. How is that going to look? And so with all of those hanging down, and we're going to still talk about some of the things we talked about: racism, high incarceration rate,
Mhm.
um, and we even have a person that's coming in to do some type of visual art, a painting as they do their workshop that ties back into social emotional learning. And so we have a lot. Anthony, we have speakers from 11 different states in the nation coming. We have about 24 breakout sessions. I can't
Wow.
name them all, but all I know is that wherever you are on April 17th, 2021, you need to find yourself at the Treasure Hunt Conference, because guess what? We are finding the treasure that is within.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell our audience how they can participate in the Treasure Hunt Conference. What can they do now? How do they log in? What's the fees? Whatever it is.
Well, if you're watching now, you need to go ahead and double screen your computer. You need to pull up two browsers. You need to continue watching this interaction with Anthony and myself with the Median Society, and you need to go to your left or to your right, and you need to log on to finetune.com. That's fine, the number one, NE-tune, TUNE.com, and go to the tab that says Treasure Hunt. Once you reach that tab, you're going to click on the Treasure Hunt Conference, and there you will see it. Now we have our keynote speaker is going to be our very own from our state, Dr. Marcise Beasley. He is the superintendent of schools for Clayton County School. And we have a hip hop artist, a Grammy award-winning hip hop artist, Lecrae. And so we are just excited about our inaugural conference. We think this is the foundation for what's going to happen next year, and we are just in great expectation.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. Well, Mr. Pilson, thank you so much for appearing on the Median Society. We are definitely going to support any kind of way that we can and get the word out on this upcoming conference. I want to tell our guests that Mr. Pilson is a part of the Fine-Tune organization. They are attempting and definitely succeeding with trying to bridge the gap and the divide between the educator and the student, Black male students in particular. What they're doing is good service and good work to all out there. In the future, if you guys want to reach the Median Society and find out more, you can go on Facebook and reach us at KA Median Society, or you can go on YouTube and message us there at the Median Society on the YouTube channel. Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Pilson. If there's anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
I would like to say also, Anthony, thank you so very much and the Median family for having us. And on behalf of Dr. Rita Williams and the Fine-Tune family, thanks for this opportunity. We also want to let you know that you can follow us at Fine-Tune on the media platforms of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. And you can find us there, follow us. Next year, again, we're having a lot of chats. But this year, you don't want to miss our inaugural Treasure Hunt Conference. See you there.
All right, you heard it here first. Treasure Hunt at, say it one more time.
Treasure Hunt, that's the name of the conference, but Fine-Tune, that's the Fine-Tune, fine with the number one, -tune.com.
All right, thank you so much. Median Society family, we're out.